As Christmas celebrants in Jos, the Plateau State capital, are expressing apprehension over the exorbitant prices of goods and services across local markets. Expressing their discontent, residents acknowledge that while prices of goods during the Christmas season are not unprecedented, this year's surge is notably much more severe compared to the recent past. Here's Ado Musa with a situation report.
The current economic climate in Nigeria is watering down the festive mood of most residents who are unable to afford food and non-food items for the Christmas celebrations. Most residents say, although some goods are relatively affordable, their purchasing power has been diminished, likely affecting the fanfare arrangement for the festive season.
We are here in the town patronizing for Christmas goods, and the prices is very, very high. Something we are buying of 1,000 naira, they are selling it 2,500 naira, which I'm very, very angry. I'm very, very angry of that. So the government should try and do something for us seriously, because we don't want to buy it at this price. It has to be below.
Okay, the prices in the market are fair, but some federal government did not pay all the federal staffs, but in our state they paid the state government. The state government paid his workers, but people are still trying the market to buy some goods for their homes, so that they will get what they will celebrate their Christmas with.
The price, I wish I had come earlier, because what I priced before is not what I'm actually pricing now. The price is almost triple of what I priced before. So I think the thing is really higher than before.
I came to buy Christmas clothes for my children. The shade is very costly. There is no money in the market, and the things are very, very costly. Children's clothes are very, very expensive. The shade is almost 8,000 naira per shade of the children. The trouser is 8,000 naira. There is no money. Things are very, very hard for us. To buy a rice now, the price of the rice is almost 1,500 naira per major. The flour is 1,300 naira. So we are not finding things easy. Things are very, very costly.
While many buyers are expressing concern over their inability to shop for the celebration due to a lack of money, the sellers, on the other hand, are complaining about low patronage, which is unusual this time of the year. Despite the gloomy situation, many Christian families are determined to celebrate the season, come what may. Ado Musa, Trust TV News.
Well, in a similar vein, shoppers and traders in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital, are expressing mixed reactions as traders express joy over the high turnout of customers with just hours before the Christmas festivity. Our reporter monitored the last day of shopping for most customers in the markets and filed in this report.
The Jalingo main market was filled to capacity as Christian faithful trooped in for their last shopping on Christmas Eve. Shoppers, however, admitted that the prices of commodities in the market have surged and attributed it to failed subsidy removal.
Everything is so high, the price is so high. It's not like before. Now, like when you come with 10,000, it's hard for you to even feel one black small leather like this. But now, if you're coming to the market with 10,000, it's better don't even come. Just go to your areas, small shops and buy there, not even wasting your time coming to the market.
You know, like actually, people are passing through a lot though. But this Christmas still, you have to get something because people at home are all watching over for you. You have to provide this, you have to provide that. So
They should do something about it. They should try and reduce fuel price. At least now a liter is 700, and even the money we used to come here itself is also the KK money have increased. So they should try and reduce the fuel money.
While Usman Jungudo, a shoe seller, and a few others are impressed with the turnout of the customers, which he admitted is far above that of last Christmas. Others have contrary views.
Increasing and they are buying it, and even the price is high, they are buying it. Those that know the quality, they are trying their own best and buy the quality.
We will say that it's okay, assume that how the country is being, our government is trying, although in fact our Taraba State government for this regime, she's trying its best.
What I want government to do is just let them be trying to be paying salary. If they are paying salary, I know that things will be moving. Because many people now they are not hustling to make money to build us, or most of them they are trying to feed themselves.
The Christmas Eve shopping was conducted under a peaceful atmosphere.
Well, with just hours before the Christmas celebration, residents of Delta State are preparing for what promises to be an exciting affair for most residents in the state as they join other Christian faithfuls across the world to mark the festivities. However, they are lamenting the high cost of transportation. Now, the hike is occasioned by the increase in the pump price of fuel and worsened by the traditional increase of price of goods and services during this period. This has left many passengers stranded, others expressing doubt that the president's approval for a 50% slash in the transportation fares across interstate will be implemented to give them succor. Here's Friday Bimowowe with the latest.
A passenger, young Daniel, who spoke on the development at the Swalef waterfront, lamented the cost of the fare, stressing the situation has become unbearable for many in the state.
From the beginning of this year, the transportation fare has been very high compared to other years. Like my place, we are paying 9,100 naira. When you do to and fro, going and coming back, you spend not less than 20,000 naira for transportation only. Like before, it was about 5,000 thereabouts. Yes, no, to and fro, maybe you just put like 10,000 naira to and fro. You are done with your to and fro, but now it's up to 20,000 naira.
The vice chairman, Ikubie Root of the Maritime Workers Union of Bayelsa State, Oyas Ruben, observed that their loading route were recording low passenger turnout compared to the same time last year. They fingered the cost of the fuel as a major reason for the development, adding that the situation was pathetic for both owners, drivers, and passengers.
No, this year we have suffered. The drivers, the passengers, everybody suffers because of the fuel. It's too much. We buy the fuel 700 naira. So no way to meet up. Last year will be South 8, but this year we are charging 10,000 naira.
Last year and this year, 3-4 times difference now because with the boat drivers and boat owners, they suffer. No way. Because of the costly price of the fuel, we can't make it. As I tell you now, December now, this kind of time, 4, 5 or 6 boats don't come out before this time. But now, since morning, one passenger another day.
On his part, a concerned stakeholder in the maritime sector, Pastor Seyefa, called on government at all levels to empathize with the people and salvage the situation, especially for routes that are not motorable.
Help people when you not get a motor road, like we are like Ikolo and Ikibri, you not get a motor road. So means of the transport to reach there, my brother. People when they go Port Harcourt go first go reach, we never go reach home. It no go fit happen again because many they suffer because of even money say money not there and things they cost anyhow back of rice don't go up, people not go fit buy. So many people not go even go play Christmas for their home.
The drivers, however, said the maritime sector has not benefited from the federal government, even in this present 50% slash on transport fare. On Friday, Ibmobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
Friday, we will repeat it there from Bayelsa and not Delta State as earlier stated. Now, staying with the Christmas festivities, we head to Benue State where barely hours before the Christmas celebration for the year 2023, Christians in the state are besieging markets around for shopping for their last minute. Now, in Benue State, Jimmy Azande visited some of the markets in Makurdi, the state capital, to capture the reaction as they shop for the Christmas.
Price of things are very expensive. Like how we bought things yesterday, the price of things yesterday is different from today. I don't know if it's because tomorrow is Christmas, but people that will come for shopping in the evening or tomorrow morning, their price they'll just cut their neck. I came to the market with my budget, so I will try to buy what it can buy. The things that are most important, I'll buy it. And leave the rest. I'll adjust. I'll cut down some things like that.
Tomatoes are here, the rubber custard for 1.5, but today the least you can get is just 2,000. That's why you are begging for it.
This is the situation in the markets as residents just for last day purchases for the annual Christmas festivity. Traders at the market said, although human traffic is huge, purchases are few because of the cost of goods. Some said the situation has improved lately following the prompt payment of salaries by the state government.
This year, things cost in the market. Like the last 2 years or last year. You hear me? But the condition, the people need kaya. But I don't know how people they will survive. Then they see things, but no money to buy it.
Kaya cost. But our main problem now, earlier don't save them. Because of earlier they pay, people they come market, who they see market they change. So we thank God for earlier now because of earlier they help possible body because if they don't pay, we know they see customer. But now when earlier they pay salary, any month they pay, we thank God for them. We pray for earlier may go help them for this government they do.
Back home, some residents are reminding Christians to remember other engagements after the celebration and be wise with their spending.
Every Christian is meant to celebrate, but in as much as we're celebrating, we should curtail the spendings because we have a lot of things to do with money, considering the economy, how the economy is going. Then I will advise parents that they should not put too much money into celebration.
We are in the period of Christmas. You know, everybody wants to spend money, but let us still remember that we still have children who are in the school. Because if we are now overspending money, when they resume back, it will be another challenge.
Christmas is celebrated 25th of December every year by the Christians to mark the birth anniversary of Jesus Christ. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Staying with the mood of the Christmas festivities, as the Yuletide season fast approaches, residents of Delta State are preparing for Christmas while lamenting the high cost of transportation. The hike is occasioned by the increase in the pump price of PMS and worsened by the traditional increase on prices of goods and services during this time of the year. This has left many passengers stranded as they express their doubt over the implementation of the presidential directive giving Nigerians 50% rebate on interstate travel. From Delta State, Jonathan Awanye has more.
Transporters plying different routes in Delta State have continued to hike transport fares ahead of Christmas, which begins on Monday. When Trust TV visited some parks and bus terminals in Asaba, the Delta State capital, it was discovered that majority of the interstate operators had increased transport fares by 70% to make up for the dwindling number of passengers and high cost of fuel. Traditionally, the prices of bus tickets increase during festive periods and vacations. During these periods, a huge number of people move between these cities and thus the demand for tickets increases and so does the price. Some residents, while speaking on the development, said that increased transport fares has compelled them to reconsider their earlier intention to travel.
The masses in general are not really finding it funny, especially our wives and our mothers when they go to market. The process of conveying their goods to their homes is really not friendly, and because of the cost of transportation, cost of goods and services has really gone on the increase. Worry to us about which was less than 1,000 to is now 5,000 plus, and it's not funny because the economy is really not working. We're appealing to the federal government to look into the matter because it is not a thing we can manage.
When you say you want to go from Asaba to Agbo, from Asaba to Warri, from Asaba to Odisha, from Asaba to Port Harcourt, the transportation is high. Because the problem is that nobody is monitoring these people. They said we have National Union of Transport, whatever. Nobody's monitoring them. They wake up in the morning and slash. And of course, the Agbero are also part of the problem. You go to some parties, the Agbero that will determine the price of the place you are going to.
Nothing less than 3K, 2K, and normally was it not like 5 months back? If you want to go to Warri, yeah, you won't spend more than 800 naira, 800 bucks. But now, the thing is not true. You spend like 3K, 4K just to get to Warri.
Other residents called on the government to ensure that the 50% slash in price of transportation for interstate travel approved by President Bola Tinubu should be accessible in all state capitals and not a selected few. Jonathan Awaye, Trust TV News, Asaba.
In another unrelated development, at least 16 persons were killed in Mushu village of Bokos local government area of Plateau State. Now, spokesperson of Operation Safe Haven, which is a multi-security task force maintaining peace in Plateau State, Captain Oya James confirmed the development to Daily Trust. According to Captain James, the attack took place on Saturday night while residents of the attacked community were asleep. He added that following the attack, security personnel were deployed to prevent further breakdown of law and order in the area. Meanwhile, Governor Caleb Mutuang has condemned the attack on the community. In a statement, the governor's Director of Press and Public Affairs, Gyang Bere, says the governor has directed security agencies to promptly apprehend the perpetrators and ensure that they face the full force of the law. Let's talk to Ado Musana, Trust TV correspondent in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Ado, good evening. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Give us a sense of how Plateau State is reacting to yet another attack that has claimed the lives of tens of people.
Today, in some of the villages of Bokos, considering that there has been gradual return of peace, particularly in some of the crisis area, that is like Mangu, Bokos, Barikiladi, and the local government areas. So after this attack, a lot of people condemn the act and also call on the security to ensure that such violence does not escalate to other places. So people are not happy with what happened, especially that people are preparing to celebrate Christmas and New Year.
Right. I mean, these attacks are not necessarily uncommon in Plateau State for the past couple of years. What do we know about the backstory of this attack? Is there any correlation to a reprisal attack? Do we know what caused the attack?
Okay, you mean the recent attack?
Yes.
Yeah, well, according to the spokesperson of Operation Safe Haven, that yesterday the victims were locals, even though there wasn't any attack before the Saturday's. But he said that those locals, but after the attack, that is this morning, there was another violence. He believed was a reprisal from the attack that was launched on Saturday night. So according to him, it was just a normal crisis between farmers and herders. But security personnel have been doing their best to ensure that these people remain in peace, and they are also working with traditional rulers and other residents of the area to unravel the substance behind the recent incident.
Interesting, you used the word normal there. Attacks like this have become rather usual for the most part in different parts of Plateau State, especially those flashpoints where Operation Safe Haven has been operating for the past couple of months now. Give us a sense of what the security situation is like in Plateau State, especially as we're just hours away from the festivities of Christmas and New Year.
Well, before the commencement of the celebration, there have been security personnel everywhere, where you have police personnel, you have also personnel of Operation Safe Haven moving around just to ensure that the Christmas and New Year are celebrated peacefully. But with what has happened yesterday, there has been a kind of deployment of security personnel, particularly around that axis, that is from Jos to Bokos, which is also a local government area. So at the moment, there has been a taxi around Bokos, Barikiladi, and then down to just our local government area, just to prevent any breakdown of law and order.
And the state government has reacted in condemnation of this recent attack, saying that it is going to deploy security apparatus across the state to ensure that law and order is maintained, which is aligning with what the spokesperson of Operation Safe Haven says. But what is your reading of the mood of people in Jos? I mean, it's very clear that the economic situation has put people in a bad mood already. But is there a concern that, you know, these attacks could further exacerbate the fragile peace in the state?
Yeah, you know, this is very obvious that even the Christmas that is expected to be celebrated yesterday, I'm very sure people around Bokos local government and Mongu local government as well may not celebrate this Christmas as usual, simply because of what has happened yesterday. Because it is a normal thing that whenever there is such violence or there is any there is always a belief that there will be a reprisal. So I believe that people around this axis may find it very difficult to have a rest of mind to celebrate the Christmas and New Year simply because of that fear that possibly there will be attack or counter-attack between the warring parties.
And most recently, we've seen that synergy between traditional leaders, associations at the community level with Operation Safe Haven, especially when that Panyam incident happened with the Ardo being killed. And of course, we understand that some of these non-kinetic approach are also being deployed to get all the warring parties to sheath their sword. What are we hearing from, say, for instance, Macban, which has some great influence on the Fulani community in Jos?
Well, all the communities are saying the same thing. It's just like what you have said, the non-kinetic approach has always been there, but sometimes we find it difficult to understand whenever there is a meeting held between the warring parties. You find it difficult to understand why this thing continue, because in every meeting, the leadership of the parties will come out and say, okay, this is our position. I will make sure that all members of our group behave accordingly. But moments later, you hear another attack. So in this case, sometimes you find it even difficult to understand why all these meetings all the time. Does it pay off, or rather it doesn't pay off? Because why is it that after every meeting, you believe that, or rather from the meeting you begin to understand that, okay, people are ready to remain peacefully, so we believe that there won't be any crisis again. But moments later, you hear another attack or another killing. So sometimes you find it difficult to understand why all this. So this is what you'll be seeing from the faces of the leadership of these communities. They will say this during the meeting, but tomorrow you hear that a community is attacked or social number of people were killed.
All right. Okay, Ado, we're going to have to leave it here for now. We'll keep tabs on that development. Thank you very much for the update. I appreciate you for joining us on the news hour.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, let's move on to another security story in relation to developments in Taraba State, where a former chairman of Yoro local government area, Ishaya Dimas Dila, and 10 others were abducted at Dila village and Kunini in Yoro local government area of the state on Sunday. According to reports, the former local government chairman and 2 other persons were abducted in the village in the early hours of Sunday. Similarly, 2 persons were shot by gunmen suspected to be kidnappers at Kunini village in Lau, local government area of the state, on Sunday. The 2 persons were shot when they resisted attempts by the kidnappers. Findings show that in the last 10 days, more than 40 persons were abducted in Dila, Pupule, Mararaban Kunini and Kunini village in Lau and Yoro local government areas of Taraba State. The Taraba State Police Command is yet to issue a statement on the recent incident. Now, after weeks of the devastating drone attack that claimed the lives of hundreds of people and left countless others injured, Tudumbiri community, once a peaceful village, now echoes with the haunting remnants of fear and trauma. The tragic incident has put the spotlight on the critical situation of a community already suffering from underdevelopment and reeling from an unforgettable experience. From Kaduna, Bello Musa tells us more.
As the year into Dimbiri shifts with a mix of sorrow and determination, resident and religious leaders gathered, seeking solace and strength. The prayers offered for the departed souls were not just words, they were a collective plea for healing and resilience. Allahu Akbar. Sheikh Ibrahim Dahiru, representing the esteemed Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi, spoke with an empathetic resonance that seemed to bridge the gap between the pain of the community and the hope they held onto. The government to ensure that the victims are compensated. Although we know we were told the incident was a mistake, but the government must take measures to avert a recurrence of such in the country. We are happy that the president promised to deal with security challenges in the country by collaborating with Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi and other planning groups. Rabiu Abdullahi, chairman of Fitiyanin Islam, Kaduna, echoes the aspirations of a community, yearning not just for the fulfillment of promises, but for the assurance of permanent security, a promise that would help them rebuild both their homes and their lives. We need schools and hospitals, and the government has promised to provide them for us. We are also following up on the issue of compensation.
True, we lost our people, but we thank God and take it in good faith. We pray for the government to fulfill its promise.
The government promised to develop our community. We are urging them to fulfill the promises made. In Chidimbiri, the scars of the past were not just etched in the landscape, but deeply embedded in the hearts of its people. This community clings to hope, praying for healing and awaiting the promises that will help them rebuild despite the trauma of a tragedy that has forever changed their lives. From Tudimbiri, in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, Bello Musa reporting for Trust TV News.
Very touching story there. Now, moving on to some of the day's other news stories. Governor Babagana Zulum has assured residents of Borno State that the ongoing blackout issue is actively being addressed by the Borno State government. A commissioner of the state, Aliyu Muhammad Bamanga, responsible for transport and energy, announced that the Maiduguri emergency backup system has been activated, successfully restoring power to certain areas of the region. Governor Zulum has expressed deep concern over the adverse effects of the blackout on the people of Borno State and is dedicated to promptly resolving the issue. The government acknowledges the hardship faced by the citizens and is actively encouraging collaboration with relevant stakeholders to expedite the restoration of power supply to other areas currently without electricity. The commissioner specifically extended gratitude to the federal entities, including the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation Limited, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, and the Yola Electricity Distribution Company, among other stakeholders who are supporting the government's endeavors. The Ogun State Police Command has confirmed the shooting of a Nigerian actor and movie director, Aziz Ololade. The incident occurred in Ikperu Ikene local government area of Ogun State, where the actor was reportedly shot by a trigger-happy policeman during an end-of-year party. Now, Ololade is currently receiving treatment at Babcock University Teaching Hospital. In a statement released on Sunday, the command spokesperson, Omolola Odutola, clarified that the actor was hit by an ammunition shell when a mobile police officer fired into the air at the end-of-the-year party. Now, the officer responsible for the incident has been identified, and the police says it has initiated an investigation into the shooting. Now, she further said that informed the public that the commander of the Mopol 16 in the state has contacted the actor, visited him in hospital, and will be covering his medical expenses. The police says that it will update the public as the investigation progresses. Now, at least 7 shops were razed on Saturday afternoon when a gas explosion rocked a mini market in Ikotun area of Lagos State. The fire erupted in a market at 2nd Junction, Governors Road, Council bus stop in the area. Director of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, Margaret Adesheye, said the incident was triggered by a gas cylinder leakage and subsequent explosion within one of the shops. Adesheye said in a statement that the explosion rapidly spread to neighboring shops numbering 7, leading to an emergency response. Multiple agencies responded to the emergency and in managing the blaze. According to the statement, preliminary investigations point to negligence during the refilling of the gas cylinders as the probable cause of the incident, adding that there are no reported cases of casualty. Now, the Yoldepate Correctional Facility has recorded 51 cases of scabies among inmates in Yola South local government area of Adamawa State. The state epidemiologist Damba Quinke from the Ministry of Health, who disclosed this, added that the first case was recorded back in August this year. Quinke stated that the investigations have revealed that some of the individuals held in the Criminal Investigation Department at the state headquarters of the police force were among those who had contracted the disease, including the index case. He says scabies is caused by an infection of parasitic mites that cause intense itching to the skin. The state epidemiologist urges the authorities of the correctional center to promote hygiene among staff and inmates to prevent the outbreak from spreading further. To arrest the outbreak, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Iswa Misali, has delivered health kits and sanitary materials to the correctional center in the state. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Second-hand clothing in high demand as cold season sets in. Details of this and many more stories coming up ahead after the break.
It's time to Japa for more fun. This season, there are loads of exciting content. Enjoy all the drama, intrigue, suspense, and romance in a wide range of telenovela series, Nollywood movies, Bollywood, kiddies program, and introducing our new kiddies channel, Boeing. After 5 years of waiting, the Nigeria Premier Football League is finally back, live and exclusively on Star Times.
Enjoy more this season with our Japa promo. Recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet and get 14 days free. Or recharge 2 months and get upgraded to a higher bouquet. Wow! Recharge now and Japa for more fun and stand a chance to win Sundial TV and other fantastic gifts. Offer runs till January 20, 2024. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times. Entertain your family.
Hello and welcome to Creative Lounge on Trust TV. My name is Ahmed Mohammed Bello and I'm going to be taking you through my journey as an artist.
Welcome back to the News Hour. Thank you very much for staying with us. Here's a quick reminder of our top stories. Christians lament high cost of commodities in last-minute Christmas shopping. 16 killed in fresh Plateau attack. Now, in his inaugural Christmas address to Nigerians, President Bola Tinubu has pledged to continue implementing palliative measures aiming to alleviate challenges arising from the discontinuation of petrol subsidy and other economic reforms. Recognizing Christmas as a time for reflection and celebration, the president emphasized the importance of easing the burdens faced by most vulnerable Nigerians and addressing prevailing hardships in the country. The president assures citizens of his commitment to govern with vision, dedication, and empathy, expressing confidence that collective efforts would usher in a new era of prosperity, peace, and irreversible progress. In the spirit of Christmas, the president encourages Nigerians to embrace acts of kindness, extending warmth to those in need and fostering a spirit of joy and compassion. He underscored the transformative changes witnessed in the past 6 months, acknowledging the sacrifices demanded by necessary reforms. As the nation approaches the Armed Forces Remembrance Day on January 15, the president is calling for collective remembrance and prayer for the men and women of the armed forces, honoring those who have paid the highest price in service to the nation. In a similar vein, the Deputy President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Barrow Jibrin, has rejoiced with Christians across the country ahead of this year's Christmas celebration, urging all citizens to intensify prayers for peace, unity, and progress of the country. Senator Barrow, in a goodwill message to mark this year's Christmas, urges Christians not to forget the essence of Christmas on the altar of merriment, but to seek refuge in God through prayers for a peaceful, united, and prosperous nation. He urges all Nigerians to rekindle their trust in the renewed hope agenda under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Staying with Christmas messages from the National Assembly, as the Christmas festivities approaches, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, and his deputy, Benjamin Kalu, have extended heartfelt messages urging Christians across the country to embrace the virtues of Jesus Christ and promote a spirit of peace. In a statement, the Speaker says the significance of prayer emphasize the significance of prayers and supplication for Nigeria during the Christmas celebrations. Drawing attention to Jesus Christ's humble beginnings, the Speaker of the House of Representatives encourages Nigerian Christians to emulate Christ's virtues, including love, sacrifice, peacemaking, tolerance, consensus building, and selflessness. The Deputy Speaker, echoing the sentiments of unity and love, extends his joyous greetings to Nigerian Christians in a statement signed by a Special Assistant on Press Affairs, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives is calling for a Christmas celebration marked by peace, love, and unity among all Nigerians. Well, as the naira scarcity worsens and continue to unsettle Nigerians looking for cash, POS operators in Bauchi State say they are not charging above the regular transaction fees in connection with the rising demand during the Yuletide season. Adamu Imam has more on the story.
Many Nigerians still find it difficult to adopt the cashless policy that reduces over-dependence on physical cash. With the anticipation of likely naira note scarcity and their perceived absence at commercial banks, Nigerians have been striving hard to ensure they have enough cash to spend in the event of scarcity. Now POS has become the easiest way for Nigerians to get cash without stress. These operators within the metropolis who agree that there is scarcity of notes, however, maintain that their charges remain the same, while others say it all depends on the situation.
For me, I don't increase my charges because if I collect like 100,000 from bank, so if you just need about 20,000, what I can tell you is that I can give you 5,000 or I can give you 10,000 with the same charges.
But for the POS operator, I think he would like to dispose his cash in his position so that he will earn more income. So in terms of charges, I think the POS operator only increases his charges because of the high cost of living.
So we used to charge like 100,000, which is 500. But now we had to increase it to 50%. We charge like 1,000 for 100,000. So graduated depending on how much you want to withdraw. Like 50,000, we charge 500. So we had to do that because of hardship people are in.
Some residents explain that they are yet to witness any increase of 50 or 100% on charges, despite the scarcity in some places and the festive season. Honestly, there is scarcity of naira notes in the hands of the common man. We, the masses, are feeling the hard situation. We pray that God will see us through. In fact, some POS operators are making it easier for us, but some are charging a lot. For instance, if I will remove 2,000 naira and 10,000, no difference. They will charge the same amount without any consideration. We are getting cash here despite the scarcity, because I do collect 100,000, 50,000 cash. Cash is available here, but we are facing economic challenges. Meanwhile, the federal government has announced that both the old and new notes should remain legal tenders till further notice. Adami Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
In other news, as the Harmattan season sets in, traders in second-hand clothing are smiling to the banks as demand surges, with prices going up significantly across Kano State. The traders say Nigeria's border closure, coupled with other economic factors, have contributed to the price hike in second-hand clothing. Idris Jibril tells us more.
Second-hand clothes market in Sabon Gari and Kopar Wambai are already witnessing large turnout of customers buying socks, cardigans and turtlenecks to ward off the biting Harmattan cold. Murtala Ibrahim is a trader in second-hand clothes at Kopar Wambai market. He says most of his customers are women who purchase them for their children. You see, I always used to come to this market to buy second-hand clothes, mostly for my children, because now it's Harmattan season and children need protection. That is why we used to come to this market to buy second-hand clothes, purposely for my children actually. The business has started to pick up as the intensity of Harmattan increases. A few weeks back, a pair of socks is sold at 150 naira. But the cost has risen to 200 naira depending on the quality, while the prices of cardigans, caps, turtlenecks, and socks have increased in the market. Well, unfortunately, the price have increased. You see, I came to buy for my children, and the only one I can buy, I have already purchased them, because socks now you have to buy it 200 naira, and the cardigans, socks and turtlenecks, everything have increased. The price have significantly increased. We'll just manage to buy the few ones we can. According to the traders, apart from the increase in demand, the high cost of transportation, the rising exchange rate, and border closure are the main reasons why the prices of second-hand clothes go high in Kano. Well, actually, the main reason why second-hand clothes are very expensive these days is because, you know, the problem of fuel, which has significantly affected our business, and also the dollar issue, the exchange rate. And those people that used to bring it from outside countries, now they are not bringing enough for us. And this is basically the reason why the clothes are scarce and the price have also gone high. Despite these challenges, the number of hawkers of second-hand clothes has significantly increased across Kano State. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has ordered the probe of some officials of the Nigerian Immigration Service over alleged misconduct. The directive follows a post by Moyo Okediji, a professor of African art from the University of Texas, Austin, in the United States, on his Facebook page, recounting that he was allegedly extorted and robbed of over $500 at the Seme border when he arrived in Nigeria through Ghana. Okediji narrated that some immigration officials stopped him for search and asked him to settle them with $40 for traveling with an expired Nigerian, when he arrived in Nigeria, traveling through Ghana. He also narrated that some NIS personnel stopped him for search and asked him to settle them with $40 for having an expired Nigerian passport. He also said he handed up the money but later discovered that $500 was missing from his luggage. The professor said he was also harassed and his documents seized by some police officers when he arrived at Mile 2, Festac axis in Lagos on the same day. Reacting to the development in a statement on Saturday, the NIS spokesperson says the agency will implement some border changes to ensure smooth operations. The NIS also said that the Interior Minister was displeased with the alleged unprofessional activities at the Seme border and has ordered immediate action to fish out the culprits. You're still watching the news hour on Trust TV. We'll take a moment's break. We'll be back with more news stories after this.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have a mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
Welcome back to the News Hour. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, a Plateau State High Court in Jos, the state capital, has issued a compelling directive for the seizure of a property belonging to the Central Bank of Nigeria. This stems from a legal battle between a lawyer and the Apex Bank, with the verdict handed down by Justice N.D. Shashit. Our correspondent Dixon Adama has been on ground monitoring the twists and turns of the legal saga. His report is presented from our studio.
The intricate details of this action are unveiled in a seizure notice signed by the registrar. The focal point of this attachment is an innocent IVM double-cabin vehicle. In the spotlight is John Eche Okpe, a legal practitioner based in Jos, who emerged victorious. This legal triumph marked a judgment against the federal government of Nigeria and select agencies, seeking to enforce the judgment via garnishee proceedings against the CBN. Okpe secured a garnishee order amounting to 10 million naira, duly made absolute by Honorable Justice N.D. Shashit on November 1, 2023. However, despite the court's unequivocal directive, the Central Bank of Nigeria has steadfastly refused compliance, triggering the seizure of the identified property.
The order absolute was order made against federal government, Central Bank of Nigeria. Since 1st of November up to date, no effort has been made by the Central Bank to liquidate the judgment sum, giving rise to the filing of contempt proceedings against the Central Bank before the High Court of Plateau State. Since it's a money judgment, we have taken steps further to attach a vehicle belonging to Central Bank of Nigeria. And given that if they don't comply with by paying the judgment sum within the stipulated time, we'll go ahead and auction the car in order to recover the judgment sum.
In a recent development, Honorable Justice N.D. Shashit, the presiding judge, wielded the judicial sword once more. Last week, an arrest warrant was issued against Mr. Jonah Akama, the state controller of the Central Bank of Nigeria. This stern measure was a consequence of Akama's defiance of a court order in the same legal battle with John Eche Okpe. Meanwhile, in the realm of silence, the counsel to CBN, A.A. Adewole, chose not to address the media in court. When approached for comments on this unfolding saga, Adewole refused to comment on the matter.
Interesting and dramatic developments there. Let's turn our attention now to developments on the international scene, where at least 13 people were killed and 38 others injured in eastern Indonesia on Sunday in an explosion at a Chinese-funded nickel processing plant. The owner of the industrial park that hosts the facility said in a statement. The island of Sulawesi is a hub of the mineral-rich country's production of nickel, a base metal used for electric vehicle batteries and stainless steel, and Beijing's growing investment has sparked unrest over working conditions at its facilities. The accident occurred around 5:30 a.m. local time at a plant owned by PT Indonesia Tingshang Stainless Steel in the Morowali Industrial Park in central Sulawesi province. The dead include 8 Indonesians and 5 Chinese workers. An initial investigation shows that the explosion happened during repair work on a furnace when a flammable liquid ignited, and the subsequent blast caused nearby oxygen tanks to explode as well, according to official statement. Now, the fire was extinguished on Sunday morning, according to the statement. Gaza officials say Israeli airstrikes on Saturday has killed more than 200 people in 24 hours as violence rages on after a UN resolution demanded more aid into the besieged territory. Israel pressed on with its offensive, focusing on the southern Gaza Strip, with clouds of grey and black smoke rising over Khan Yunis city. The health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza reported 201 deaths in the past 24 hours across the territory, updating the death toll since the start of the war to 20,258, most of them women and children. Israel, in response, vowed to destroy Hamas and launched a relentless bombardment and ground invasion of Gaza. Saturday's strikes came after the Security Council approved a resolution demanding immediate, safe and unhindered deliveries of life-saving aid to Gaza at scale. Talking sports now, iNews Chief Executive Jim Ratcliffe has become a minority stakeholder in Manchester United, buying a 25% stake at a price of $33 per share, according to the club. iNews, which will assume delegate responsibility for the club's football operations, and United entered an agreement on Sunday under which Ratcliffe will acquire 25% of the Class B shares held by the Glazer family and up to 25% of the Class A shares. Ratcliffe will also provide $300 million for future investment into the club's Old Trafford Stadium. Qatar's Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani was also looking to buy the club, but dropped out of the bidding process, saying he will not be raising his $6 billion offer, leaving the British billionaire to strike a deal with the Glazer family. Ratcliffe's iNews also owns French club 1, Nice, Swiss Super League side FC Lausanne, and works with Racing Club Abidjan of Ivory Coast League 1. It is also behind the Grenadiers, one of the world's most successful cycling team. New investment, same old result at Old Trafford, I dare say. Well, that is all the news at this hour. Thank you most kindly for joining us. We do appreciate your time and company. Feel free to follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more content, and you can visit our website, trusttv.com, for more news and programs. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for watching the News Hour, and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.